I'm John Mapes. I'm the percussion director here at Chino Hills High School. I'm the battery arranger and visual designer as well.
How did you decide to go with such a big drum line this year?
Yeah, so this year with Chino Hills, we had a huge freshman class, and basically we wanted to figure out a way to incorporate them, as many as possible, but still making smart decisions. So we decided we went pretty big this fall, and we had to figure out what we're going to do with that in the winter. You know, we've had a long history of quality at the top of the activity, so we didn't want to sacrifice that, but we also didn't want to get rid of all these new freshmen. So we figured out a way where instead of everybody on toms, which is something we've been doing for a little while now as a training tool, we decided, what if we were able to keep them all in their kind of next level instrument, their goal, their next year instrument, essentially. So we programmed during the show from the very beginning, we're gonna go with the full big drum line. We're gonna go 7 snares, 5 tenors, 7 bass drums, 6 cymbals. So everybody is fully included for the last minute of the show based off education choices.
How do you pick students for drumline? Are they all new as freshmen, or do you start them in middle school?
In general, we really get all types of levels in our auditions. Sometimes it's band kids, sometimes it's percussion kids with like not really any training. We do have a junior high feeder. It's 7th and 8th grade only, and they march and play. They do an indoor show. You know, we write the show, our staff teaches those kids, but it's all about fun. It's all about learning about the activity. They get to go to SCPA shows and see groups like Chino Hills and Ayala and Pulse and RCC, and it's like they get to grow up in that culture. They only get 2 years. By the time they get to us, they're not necessarily ready to go, but they know what they're getting into. And most of them are starting from scratch. It's very, very basic. This is a stick. Watch this DVD. And they're like, oh, this seems cool. Yeah. We just try to get them hooked. And usually their 7th grade year, they're just trying to figure out what's going on. And by their 8th grade year, they kind of understand a little bit about drumming, and then they're just with us immediately. Our fundamentals program at the junior high is very similar to what we do at the high school, but obviously with adjustments. Basic things like stick control is exactly the same, and our double beat is exactly the same, but then, you know, like they need to do more breakdowns on how to play rolls and certain things. They don't have as much vocabulary, obviously. And it's not just fundamentals of how to play, it's the fundamentals of like, what does it feel like to have a drum on? And what's the difference from standing still on a stand to on the move? And just understanding what's the difference now in front of an audience, you know?
Yeah.
Under the pressure at SCBA finals. I mean, there's quite the journey for them.
Is everything staff driven, or do upperclassmen help in the teaching process?
We really rely on the seniors quite a bit. Like they have a class period. There's no staff there for that class period, but that's their time where they work with the younger players. They understand if they're gonna have a good senior year, they gotta put some time in with the freshmen. And they're seeing them a lot more than we're seeing them. We're there 2 nights a week. Right. That's our deal at show days.
How do you motivate everyone to be on board with what you're asking them to do?
Not everyone's ever on board. I mean, no matter what. So if it comes across that way, right, we're doing the thing. But yeah, it takes time. Number one, it takes time. You can't expect to go to a school and in 2 years, everybody's fully on board and gets it. Like, we've been here 13 years, and it's still a struggle. I mean, the freshmen, it still takes that full year for them to even get it. Even with all the DVDs and all the stories, like, kids are here for the first time right now in Dayton, Ohio, and they're like, wow, like, this is really happening. Like, we've been trying to tell you about this, but it's just, the stuff takes time. But we really rely on the students and the leadership so much, and the alumni, to really keep that culture and motivation going. And we talk about this all the time. I feel like we, as a staff, half of our job is teaching drumming, and the other half is motivational speakers, one-on-one conversations on the side, you know, whatever it is.
How do you get your students to perform with so much confidence?
People ask us all the time about how we get everyone to perform and how they look so confident and fearless when it counts. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'd say the 2 biggest reasons are, number one, we make sure they actually are confident. We're smart about changes. We're smart about our rehearsal schedule. We make sure everyone feels really, really good about what they're about to do. You know, we rehearse with a very high standard. We don't all of a sudden at the show expect it to be great if it's not great in rehearsal. But number 2, we talk about it. We talk about how people look when they're performing. Like, this is a performance.
What advice do you have for percussion educators running their own program?
Yeah, the biggest advice I would have to anyone working with their own program, being frustrated, trying to get things out of them, is to really kind of look more in the mirror than just blaming the kids. You know, I mean, I've been teaching for about 20 years now, and in the beginning, it was always like, come on, what's wrong with these students? I know what I'm doing. You're not doing the thing. And after a while, I realized, well, what do I got to do to change? How can I get more out of them? And there's a million different ways to do that. But the main thing is if you just look more in the mirror, like we as educators have so much control over the situation at the end of the day. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. The biggest, the coolest thing we did is we lived up to the expectation, and the expectation was impossible. You know what I mean? Yeah. The expectation was impossible. One of my favorite stories is Jason said, he's like heard the tenor break, and then he saw you, and he just saw Kel, and Kel's like, ah! And then Jason like looked at him, he's like, ah! And running back and forth, screaming at the back of the floor. It's like, it's so awesome, right? It's so awesome. You guys should be super happy, yes? Yeah. You should be super proud. That was awesome. That was Chino Hills at his best.
Yeah.
That's all we wanted. That's all we wanted, you know, and it was like, yeah, we've had a lot of good runs, you know, but to do it when it counts was the hardest part. For so many reasons, right? Like props, everything was rocking, sound system was rocking, absolutely no rips. Like everything, no rips. And all the stuff that actually freaks us out was all good. And the clarity was there, but we knew that would happen. You know, the energy was there from the run earlier, so we did all of the things at the right time. You know? So I hope you guys know that was awesome. You know, it's the same thing we always say too. We always say the same thing. It's like, look, it's always sad to lose the seniors, but like, there's no better way to go out than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no better way to go out than that. So I feel real great about that. So, hey, we want you guys to enjoy the rest of the night. We really do. Like, you guys are probably tired, but probably not. You're probably just hyping right now. You can sleep forever later. But you seriously have to go to school on Monday, right? Monday! Yeah! That's real! That's a Hey, so seriously, congrats. Enjoy the rest of the night with the independent world, right?
Cheer mostly for Pulse.
And remember, there's nothing you can do about it now, so whatever. And in fourth place, Chino Hills, like, whoa, that's crazy. Okay, you know what I mean? That's it. That's it. It's whatever. I mean, you guys know what I'm saying, though.
Yep.
Like we are never that group. They were never that group. You know what I mean? We've been doing this too long at the highest level. We always got to represent. So just enjoy the awards. You get to hang out with all those groups, do the thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's supposed to be fun. The performance was certainly fun. So make the rest of the night and awards and everything fun. Yes, please.
Yeah.
You guys earned it. That was rocking. Yeah. I'm speaking for everyone. We are exceptionally proud.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dad. There it is. Shut up. Get out of here. You ruined it.
Go Chino Hills!
Yeah!
Let's go! Come on! Yeah! Come on!
Let's go!